well, we're here. We made it that way, and we're trying to see what everybody's gonna go for. Sardar ban that had been a one position a couple times in Group A.
RNG's turn
And they'll ban the Monkey King, something we didn't see once in Group A. And now Abaddon comes in. That should be your offlaner. I think we saw that like once or twice. I'm a fan. You know, the protection, the dispel, the tankiness is always all right. But what really gets me is when you get too far behind on Abaddon, like that's it. Like if you've got your ulti, it's not going to matter. They're just going to pop your ult, surround you, and then you're not going anywhere.
5 seconds.
You know, you've got telekinesis now on the Rubik. That's your only bit of lockdown for the moment. He could steal lockdown from Ogre Magi or Mirana, especially with that arcane supremacy making it that much stronger. And Abaddon, you know, falls too far behind and ends up in a bit of a bad way. RNG looked decent at the end of last year, obviously finishing top 8 at TI. And they go Grimstroke, something we barely saw in the other group. Again, Ember gets picked up, pretty standard staple pick here, and well, we'll see if that's gonna be mid or safe lane. I would assume it's the mid, but it's gone back and forth, and Newbee gonna go for the TA. So TA, their mid gets picked up. Grimstroke, Bounty Hunter, Rubik. Somehow, Kunkka completely ignored in this, and I feel like that's got to be the ban for Newbee right here. Like you'd assume that is something you don't want against the TA.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So win and you have a chance, or you have 2 chances, I believe, at the major. Lose and you're going to the minor qualifier. So we'll see. And this is a difference between potential major and potential, you know, better chance of potential major. Where, you know, you got to win the minor to get to the major and claim your $72,000. Or you could go to the major qualifier playoffs and, you know, make it and have a chance at $300,000. Or you pull the ultimate charade and, or charade and, pull the old Vici minor major winner. Double up on the money. They ban Venomancer and they go to the Axe. Venomancer, what a ban. We have not seen Venomancer picked once in Group A. Was it picked at all in Group B? Now I gotta check. Sorry for my hoarse voice. I've been casting since midnight, and it is about to hit noon. So I did the same thing yesterday. Venomancer picked by CDC once.
Choose your hero.
Looks like just once, and they go Slark, so that'll be Ember mid. Monet on the Slark. So Slark, Ember, Abaddon, Ogre, Mirana, that is Monet on the Slark, Setsu on the Ember, Flyby or Fly Win on the Abaddon, Fenrir on the Ogre, Dogfights on the Mirana. For the side of Newbee, you've got Allwin, aka Wizard, on the Axe. AQ will be on the TA, Faith on the 5 position Grim, Fonte on the Bounty Hunter, making it a safe lane bounty, which I've seen a couple times, and I've seen it work. And then Wei Shi on the Rubik.
5 seconds remaining.
Interesting. That's for sure. So, I'm excited to see how this goes. As you know, it's a do or die situation for both teams. Oh, not die. I guess die is a little harsh. I feel like it's do or do a little less. Either continue to the major or, well, maybe continue to the minor. You ready, boys, girls, everybody? Ready for some good Dota? Ooh, Oishi on the Rubik. 600 wins above 500. Now, I know that doesn't make sense to some of y'all, but it is a baseball thing. Being 500 is even. For those who don't know, it's a sports thing, not a baseball thing. We're ready to go. I'm excited to see. Oh my God. I'm excited to see Bounty Hunter in this one position. If I stay monotone like this, I'm going to apologize early. It is hard to make sure I don't do what I just did. And my voice sounds gross. So, you know, trying to keep it as tolerable as possible. That's for sure. So smoke play from RNG, not going to pan out in anything. Although, as I say that, behind them is Monet. Alwyn nearby. He moves over. They are trying to force them out of the bounty runes over here. Meanwhile, top bounty runes should go the way of Newbee.
30 seconds.
So, potential for 3 here for Newbee if they could get Monet off this one. And we'll see. Starting with the Battle Hunger, and that is immediately purged off. They don't get close. I mean, they thought about it. And it ended up being 2 for 2.
The battle begins.
So there we go. 2 for 2. They know that the axe is down here. I'm not too certain they know the Rubik is here as well. Fenrir coming over with Monet. No move forward. We'll see if they could clip something. Usually when you do something like this, you're trying for first blood, and it usually has 3 heroes on it. So I'm surprised Faith is in here to say get an ink swell into something, but who am I to judge, you know? Gonna be hard to put Battle Hunger here on Monet, so you just throw it on Fenrir. And well, I was gonna say I missed first blood. I tried to ignore it for a second, but no, Fonte goes down. He is first blood. You would try to have somebody down here, and then I was talking about how Battle Hunger is just not gonna work on Monet because it's gonna get purged off by the Dark Pack. So you gotta put it on the Ogre. So we'll have to see at least how this lane is gonna go now for Fonte, considering he gave up first, but it shouldn't be awful. You still have that opportunity, you know, you get your levels a little quicker, you get that farm boosted a little better, and it should be pretty decent to get that extra gold and make your way quicker to those boots, make your way quicker to your first big item. So we'll definitely have to see. I think you could really, well, with just having the Abaddon here, leave Fonte to get as many levels as possible, and that's what they've done. And they're going to leave him to get this soul experience. So he'll continue to do that. Now he's into the Shadow Walk. He needed to be careful with the Curse of Avernus silencing him. Meanwhile, bottom, Alwyn will get a glimpse here of Fenrir, and Wei Shi, as well as Alwyn, hit with the Ignite. Fonte about to hit level 3. And, you know, you're probably getting level 2 in Janata, which means it's every 9 seconds, an extra 100 damage, and 20 gold, which is negligible. Try to turn it around, but the Curse of Avernus is placed on him. He's slowed up and unable to catch up to the Abaddon, and meanwhile, Fenrir sitting low health, low mana. As for the matchup, over mid, TA at 15-0, to the Embers 19-3, so it is a little bit close, but and I believe Fenrir was trying to sacrifice himself to the tier 2, doesn't get that opportunity, as we see Wei Shi come back and get the kill onto the Ogre. So you notice that a lot with position 5s, they'll sacrifice themselves just to get their health and mana full up, but not this time. This time it's going to be the kill for the Rubik, and that's good. Take that Centaur out with the arrow. Very worth it. If you're not going to get an arrow, it's not going to lead to a kill. Why hold it? You're going to regen the mana anyway, and then you have the extra gold. So, still keeping an eye out here on Bounty Hunter. We'll see if it's Shuriken Toss at level 4. Yeah, it will be. I don't know how many levels you're really trying to take in Shadow Walk. It's more about just maxing that Janata. Maxing that Janata and getting into track as quickly as you can, because you want to be able to boost that gold. It does come down to whether or not you're able to get kills with that track. So you're going to need help from the axe. We've been seeing a lot of phase boots from axes. That with Inkswell, you know, you have the opportunity to Inkswell and get on top of somebody, get the call, and potentially get a kill. Inkswell will get the stun, only 3 hits on the Curse of Avernus. Again, Fonte having a decent time here, 29-4. 50 gold.
That should help.
Thank you very much. Oh, arrow hit. Has the refraction though, and well, staying alive. That's at 50, right? Not 20. I'm not going delusional here, because it says gold steel 20.
This bounty is not for you.
Just make it sure. But Fonte about to hit level 5. So one more creep, hits that level 5, gets the 3 in Janata. Now it is every 6 seconds, which will be really nice. Just take that gold. Yeah, 28. Alright, it's at 20. Not sure why I thought it's at 50. Where did the Marana go? Back towards mid. Dogfight's looking for an arrow here to hit on AQ. Refraction not popped yet. But Dogfight's, if he finds that arrow, I'm not too certain he gets the kill. Just like we saw a moment ago. Meanwhile, Fonte's got the phase boot, so you can really close the gap if you've got Inkswell on you. And get a big Janata hit on maybe a track and a follow-up from a secondary support or a core. You know, just any sort of follow-up. Meanwhile, bottom, you've got Alwyn at level 5, and Wei Shi coming back towards Flywin, aka Flyby. That's a 1,000 net worth lead so far for Newbee. And despite giving up the first blood, for right now, Fonte is pretty happy with his position in terms of gold. Grimstroke that was going towards the Ember actually goes towards the TA, or going towards the Abaddon goes towards TA to help out and put the Ink Swell on and get that kill. They use the Ink Swell, they use the Phantom's Embrace, you know, make sure he can't Remnant away, and they lock down that kill in the Ember. I know I'm watching Fonte a lot here. It comes down to, now that he's got trapped, what they're going to do. And Flywin, not in the best situation of all things. You take a look at the net worth, he's down about 1,000 gold to Fonte, and he's just been laning almost 1v1 against him. But Fonte with the damage, he's able to deny these creeps, sits top of the net worth, doing a very good job here, going into the early medallion with phase boots, and is about to have it finished off in just one creep. So, you know, he'll get that 300, not a neutral creep, obviously. We'll get that 300 gold, get that Blightstone, and be ready to rock and roll with this medallion. Meanwhile, mid, Fenrir and Dogfights, they come over, try to get a kill somewhere. Meanwhile, TA inside the jungle to take these camps, leaving Grimstroke, leaving Faith to get level 6 as quickly as possible. I would assume they hit this arrow. A lot of rotations come in from Newbee.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
TP from the TA all the way over and across as the Radiants start to invade this side of the their jungle. Fonte's got this medallion. Looks over at the Ogre. They put the track on, and now Shuriken hits, avoiding the arrow, and should be a kill here. Has Janata in just a second. The telekinesis back into the hands of Fonte to get the kill.
Got you.
So that one kill alone is worth 300 gold here to Fonte, who's going to look to finish off that Solar Crest. Or early Solar Crest here for the Bounty Hunter to have that minus armor. Could be absolutely devastating to what RNG think they're going to bring. No Blink Dagger yet, but they're just looking to get a shot here, an opportunity to get the kill on the Mirana. They'll leap away. The second leap, they'll back off. The rotation comes in from the Abaddon, but they've got the call. They've taunted this Sark, who has the leash on to Alwyn. Now from behind, though, Fonte comes in, gets one shot on the Mirana, forcing him back. Ogre joins in, so 4 heroes here for the side of RNG all of a sudden. I believe maybe even 5 with Setsu going a little bit more north. He'll Remnant over, look for the Rubik. Soulbind comes in, telekinesis on both. Monet doesn't land the pounce, but almost gets the kill and will eventually die to the Ignite. Axe shows up again, spins, dunks, kills Flywin, but loses his life in the process. They've got the track out of the Ever Spirit. The chase is on. Searing Chains locks up AQ, but they've got the trap to slow him down. The arrow avoided by the Bounty, but not avoided by the TA. So 2 for 1 there. And again, a good chunk of gold going the way of RNG. I'm not certain. I don't think they got a track on Abaddon. But still up to this point, Fonte at 1,350 gold. Working towards this ulti orb. And, of course, the Solar Crest to finish.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's
Smoke coming out,
structures
heading
are
towards
fortified.
top. Fonte is TPing to the shrine to try and join this, at least get track out. Now this is what they want to do, is bump their gold, and if they could have their cores here and get some track kills, they'd be very pleased. especially
Dire's
Wizard
top tower is
Alwyn,
under
who
attack.
wants to get himself that blink dagger as quickly as possible. So they've got the track on Flywin, and they'll steal Miscoil. They don't go in on this. Monet committing with a Dark Pact. They'll also use the Shadow Dance. They've got the Inkswell, avoids the arrow. Meanwhile, on the top, going after Faith is Setsu. Alwyn low, Shuriken bouncing, not enough damage. They look for Setsu. They look for, you know, maybe a kill onto this Ember. Ogre chasing, Fire Blast, multicast, comes in, gets the kill, looks for more. Weishi trying to run. Stolen Remnant, 1 and 2 away. They get the kill on a Fonte, and this is all RNG in this top fight.
Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's
This did
bottom
not go
tower
well
is
despite the
under attack.
Shuriken jumping to like 4 people. Never got the finishing opportunity on any of these heroes. A little scared to go in. Also without the TA, who wants this Deso and Blink. So Fonte doesn't sit top the net worth anymore. But AQ does.
Radiant
Although
are
it's followed by the
scanning.
Slark, who's got 2 in permanent
Dire's
agility
middle
after
tower is under
being
attack.
involved in a couple.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He's got Phase Boots
Dire's
going
bottom
Diffusal
tower is
first,
under
and he's got the
attack.
2 Blades of Alacrity ready.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
Surprisingly,
tower
Newbee
has
just
fallen.
let that tower go.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Might come out on the high ground. They've got the Desolator, so they might start working with the TA a little bit more. AQ comes over. There's the stun. Multicast twice. They move over. Soulbind as well as the silence. But AQ is in a really bad position. They get the kill here onto the Ogre. Leap down to the low ground. Dogfight's getting away. They're trying to get the silence onto Alwyn. Nice Inkswell onto 3. They could use the help from Fonte, but he's not going into this fight, and he'll leave his axe all by himself. Little taunt coming out from Dogfights, just needs 1 spin. Doesn't get the call, doesn't get the spin, doesn't get the kill. And I feel like there was a poor decision to not go in. Fonte could have definitely gotten the kill on the Mirana. That's a boost in gold they could have used, and maybe with a couple tracks and a shuriken toss would have helped keep the TA alive. Who knows?
Tribute to my house.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire are scanning.
So, 1,000 net worth lead here for RNG. Almost has this blink dagger, but now Slark is top of the net worth, has finished off that diffusal blade, going into the BKB
Dire's
next.
top tower is under attack.
And Fonte and AQ starting to fall behind a little bit. AQ needs to get this blink dagger online, but they've got the blink of the axe that maybe they can use to secure some kills. There they go. The look for Fonte. He takes a lot of damage from the Starstorm. Remnant forward dies. Immediately, so much damage is gone. Immediately taking out Bounty Hunter, who has not gotten this Solar Crest yet.
Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's bottom
Slark
tower
moving
is
in,
under
Inkswell onto AQ. He's got the Desolator, but the arrow hits onto a creep. They get the kill onto the Ogre, but they lose the TA. They're losing their top net worth heroes here at the price of a support.
Dire's middle tower
Getting a
is under
support,
attack.
and it's not really working out all too well, as they're going to lose yet another core here. And it'll go down to Setsu. Slark involved once again for permanent agility. 10-6, 2,000 net worth lead here for RNG.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
They take the tier 2 tower over mid. They'll look towards the tier 1 top. Solar Crest finally finished for this bounty hunter, Fonte.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen.
They grab 2 towers off that. Now back over towards mid. They've got the stun. Weishi with the remnant trying to get away and gets over to the shrine to heal up. Arrow comes in, not going to land on anybody. They've got the track. They've got the soul line. Telekinesis on a 2 as well as the Fatal Blink call on a 3. They pop the ulti onto the Abaddon. They look over at the leaping Mirana, but they won't get the kill. They get the kill on a Setsu. They look for Ogre, who's half health. They've got the track on a Flywind, so they get themselves a second. They look for more. They're going to use this smoke to try and catch up to them. Track place. They could use this gold very badly. And the stun comes out, but the blink call is there. Meld strike hits, and AQ gets the kill. So 3 kills there for Newbee, drawing in RNG and gaining a lot of gold to even this game back up immediately into Roche. Fonte hit. He's half health. He needs to be careful. Fadebow comes in. They've got the sentry towards the bottom of the Roche pit. Sentry gets placed down, and it does spot the sentry, but the Aegis is picked up by AQ. They kill off dogfights. They'll look for more. The Remnant in, looking over the axe to get the kill on an all-win. Now the Remnant out, but Faith is low, and AQ has got the second life, but he needs help from the rest of his team. There's the call on the 2. Spark using the ulti, trying to chase. They get the kill on all-win once again. He just bought back. AQ goes down, and they are going to take the betterment of this fight and look for more on a Fonte. Track thrown on the Setsu that chases through, but they just don't have the vision for Fonte. RNG take a fight right back. They take 2 lives away from both the axe as well as the TA. And all of a sudden, it looks like the game's back in RNG's hands. They'll take another 2 towers.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Man, this is the last outer tower that Newbee have. Like, this is a problem.
Dire's bottom tower has
They
fallen.
move through midway. She shows himself for a moment.
A tribute to my house. Selfish.
Fonte, after a beautiful start, is really slowed down. Sentry, this should looks like a smoke. They've had one on the Grimstroke ready to go, and I believe they would go to the high ground and go for it, but oh, they find the ward. Now they might be able to smoke.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
They actually don't. They grouped up like they might. But the Moonlight Shadow comes out, and now RNG looking for an opportunity to potentially break the high ground. If they can get a kill here and find heroes that don't have buyback, that puts them in a really sticky situation. They get the arrow onto the Grimstroke. Veil's going to be placed. They think about going in, but they back off for a moment and will reset.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This tower, Soulbind comes in as well as the silence on the 2. Can they follow this up? Blink call's not going to land on anybody, and this is a botched call from Alwyn. Newbee really need to hold the high ground successfully. Being down 3,000 net worth isn't much, especially when you have track to get back into it. But when you give up these towers and potentially racks, that's when things get deadly. And a smoke back in. Smoke from both teams, actually. TA showing, the rest of the team a little bit north. They've got the BKB here on the TA. All in. Looking with his potential smoke and Blink to get in on this, but backs off. They get the scan, and now here comes the arrow, but that is way left of anything, and, well, Newbee already out of the jungle. So, 2 smokes, you know, one a team, but nothing really found off any of it. Just a little bit of farming done from both sides as a team of 5. You know, no solo farming at the moment. Sleight of Fist searing chains on both the axe as well as bounty. No follow-up coming in, but I'm doing a bit. Sark, meanwhile, finishes off the S&Y, has the diffusal going into the Scotty, a ways out from it, but at the same time, you know, in a decent spot, and by decent I do mean sitting top of the net worth. Meanwhile, TA looking for that Blink Dagger. Had gotten Deso, wanted the Blink, went BKB. So we'll double back for the Blink, need that mobility to try and help the team, as we've seen a couple times just in poor position. So 3,000 net worth lead here for RNG.
I claim this prize.
And kind of claiming the map, you know, making it hard for Newbee to find a spot to farm at the moment. They've got their triangle kind of not as safe. The further they go out, the more unsafe they are, especially with how RNG are roaming the map. Let's see if who's first to make a move. Is I don't think RNG want to continue to allow Newbee to farm like this. Unfortunately, they're just going to lose Fenrir. I mean, that's a kill, that's some gold. Could be very happy with that, especially with Fonte going into the BKB. You want to get that as quickly as possible. And the Blink Dagger coming out for AQ. So now he's got his mobility. So these items are starting to come in for Newbee. You need to be very careful on RNG how content you are with just farming and allowing the other team to find the next couple of items. Blink call. But on the creeps, which is fine. KB next for the axe as well. They start to move forward. Remnant Sleight of Fist searing chains that holds him for the arrow. They'll give it to the Slark. He'll get the kill. Monet easily dispatching Faith. They took their support about 45 seconds ago, and now they'll take one back. And again, Slark getting some permanent agility, 7 to be precise total. They take the tier 3, that'll open up the shrines, and again, Newbee need to find themselves an opening. Might cost the Grimstroke a buyback where they want the Soulbind and the Silence as well as the Telekinesis, but we'll see when they're willing to make that move and if RNG are willing to stay. The second the buyback comes, RNG back out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom shrine is under attack.
So shrines open.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom shrine is under attack. Dire's bottom shrine has fallen.
Smoke coming out, leading is Monet.
Shadows.
We've also got Setsu nearby. Moonlight Shadow to use. Sentry Ward placed down. And if they could get a kill on a Faith, that would be great. They Remnant forward side of Fist, Syrian Chain. Soulmine comes out as well as the Silence before he goes down. They've got the Telekinesis as well as the Arrow. The BKB is going to be popped by AQ. And now they look over with Fonte, who's also got the BKB. Damage being dealt. Side of Fist once again. Setsu trying to get away. He's got the Remnant back to try and juke them. It'd be in the hands of Alwyn. Meanwhile, the rest of the team turning around, looking for Axe. And he's got the call, but it doesn't land on anything more than Monet. And that's a problem because the Sark is gaining stats, continuing to kill this Axe. And they will get 2 kills and lose nothing on the side of RNG.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So a 2-for-0 there in favor of RNG. And it hasn't looked good for Newbee much this game.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle barracks.
And it just doesn't seem like they have the damage to get it done. They'll look over for the root with the 4-staff away, but Monet's going to continue to dive in. They've got everybody inside the base. What does Fonte or AQ do? I mean, what can you do at this point? AQ trying to farm where you can. Maybe you get the perfect 5-man call and AQ destroying, but that is a very big if. And if you get that opportunity, which you won't. Dead again, immediately buying back. And back towards these buildings they go. They've got track on a couple of these heroes, but continuing to get dispelled by the Aphotic Shield. Blink call, they've got the Leash, they've got the Soulbind. Abaddon getting low, but he's got that ulti, and Alwyn, who just bought back, is going to die immediately. BKB is popped by Fonte as well as AQ trying to get something. Telekinesis lifting up the Abaddon after the ulti, but it's not getting any damage out there. AQ ends up dying. They know it's over. GG's called by Newbee, and RNG move on to tomorrow. And that'll give them second in the group, where they will play Vici. So Vici against RNG, Aster against eHome, and then CDC against Keen to decide who goes to face LFS to play off for the minor. Sorry, this is a little confusing for me. Yeah. Just give me a second. But RNG get the victory. They beat Newbee, and 2 out of 3 there. So, you know, they could have shut it down last game, but they ended up going down about 50,000 net worth. You take a look at the scoreboard. It just never really got off the ground for Newbee. It looked good early. They had this little bit of a lead, and then they couldn't capitalize on it. Monet just got too much, and they couldn't kill Flyby or Setsu. Weren't doing enough damage. AQ's positioning was poor at times. And Royal never give up. They just kind of run away with it. So, you know, they make it look easy. And we've got one more tiebreaker for you. Keen Gaming against CDEC, which, you know, that should pair up to be a good one. That one decides who will play something Smile. I forget their name off the top of my head. I literally just said it 2 seconds ago. But we'll see. That'll be coming up next. RNG CDEC. Stay right there. We'll be back in a moment. I appreciate you guys tolerating my voice right now. I know it's garbage. But next series should be fun. So stay excited. Be excited. Tiebreakers coming in. And we'll be back in just a moment.